Hey guys, my name is Parks Core. I'm a videographer, cinematographer from Texas. Today we're going to be shooting some product videos for an Inc. 5000 company that has hired me to shoot some product videos for their YouTube channel and website. As you can see behind me, we're going to be shooting some tires. You do have to get a little bit creative when you're shooting pretty much entirely with inanimate objects, but not to worry. I'm gonna be doing a gear breakdown for you guys, showing you what I'm shooting with. I'm gonna be doing kind of a walkthrough, kind of my thought process as I'm shooting. I'm gonna be showing you guys my lighting setup, how I get the certain look that I like, and also when it's all said and done, I'm gonna ingest the footage and show you guys kind of how I get it up to standard. Today we're shooting on the Zcam E2. I've got a DZO lens on this. We're gonna be using a slider also to get some nice movement. That's a look at the camera, but let me go ahead and show you the rest of the gear that I'll be shooting with today, just so you kind of get a general feel of what I'm using. So right here I'm setting up my 3-point lighting. Got a backlight, got a fill light, and we got a key light. We're working with one lamp, one softbox, and an LED. Here you see me setting up the tires. What I like about this is that the other tires can act as kind of like a holder for the main tire. Go ahead and wipe the product down, get it nice and clean, get a sip of the coffee. And I'm setting up what will be the stands for our slider. The slider itself is a Zeppin, I think it's a Japanese company. I've worked with it a handful of times before. It comes with its own tripod or a tripod adapter, but the first time I tried to use it, I found that using just one tripod in the middle oftentimes would have it kind of stooping too much to one side or the other as you moved it. So I found it was better to have 2 points of contact on the far ends. Quick look at the camera setup. This wire that I'm using, I try to choose a really, really long and loose HDMI cable, because without that, it would kind of get snagged up on the camera. It would jerk the camera around. You need something that could kind of flow with it. So, camera setup, lighting setup, product setup. I don't know if you saw it in the video, but I had to wipe the product down with a rag real briefly. That's one thing, anytime you're filming a product, something you really don't want to forget is make it really presentable, make it really attractive, even if you gotta touch it up a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead, now I have the lights set up. I've got my key light right here, got my fill light right there, and then backlight right there. I might be adjusting these a little bit throughout just to go for as much dimensionality as I can achieve here. That's one thing when you're working with an inanimate object, you really want to try to make it look 3D. One of the best compliments I've ever received on one of these videos is that, oh man, it looks like a video game. So if you can go for that, that's pretty good. But anyways, we're about to get started here. This is the app we're going to be using for our slider. This is called Zeppin, and with that I'll get to control the movement of the camera. I'll get to add some movement into the shots, make it look all cinematic and pretty. When your subject is something that can't move and can't be animate, the camera movement becomes super paramount. And when you're shooting something like a corporate video, stuff like handheld is best, in my opinion, used sparsely, especially if it's like a commercial or something. If this were like a reality TV show, we could maybe get away with that a little bit more, but we're gonna be pretty sparse with the handheld stuff today and mostly just be focusing on slider work. But yeah, I'm excited to show you guys how we shoot this. Mostly, I try to shoot every single one of these pretty much the same way. I have a general shot list. We're going to be getting wide, medium, and close, and even an extreme close of the product front facing, product side facing, and then we're gonna get a couple wraparound shots and just try to get a little bit freaky with the slider and the camera movement and stuff like that. And I might even try like a, forget what they call it, the rack zoom. I did it on this, like for a shot earlier with the E2, but yeah, we're gonna see if we can get that. It's not as manageable with this camera, but we'll try it out. And yeah, other than that, another thing here that we're gonna be working with is time constraint. So like on this shoot in particular, we only have this space rented out for a week. So I got 5 days to shoot 20 products. Really it's 4 days because I was supposed to start yesterday, but I wanted to vlog the process, and also we had some time dedicated to collecting the products and getting the space ready. So truthfully, it's 20 products in 4 days. So we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna see if we can get it shot within that time limit. And yeah, so. All right, so now we're getting into the actual shooting of the product. So right here, you see I'm kind of just tightening the screws on this slider, making sure it's nice and even. Any amount of unevenness is gonna kind of give the footage kind of a weird angle. Go ahead and format the card there, make sure the card's empty because we're gonna be getting a lot of footage today. Here you see I'm spray painting the ground. That's to mark where the product is. Typically I use a lot of spray paint while I'm doing these products, just because I like to, if I get an angle or a shot that I really like, I like to be able to replicate it. In the past I've used a lot of different colors of spray paint, but unfortunately this time around we only had black. And also green, you'll see green later, but here I'm just kind of calibrating the shot. So what you do on the slider is you set 2 points. You set an A and a B point. You can set more than that, but 2 points is really all you need. Cool thing is you get that nice parallax where the background is moving behind the subject, but the subject, being the tire, kind of just stays in the same position the whole time. So here I'm adjusting the product, some spray paint to make sure I remember my spot. And we're gonna go ahead and get some profile shots here. This right here is gonna be the zoom in. Once again, with the zoom in shot, you wanna make sure the slider is dead on. Any bit of an angle or a skew is gonna kind of produce kind of a weird looking effect. Make sure there's a lot of slack in that HDMI cable because we don't want it to snag and jolt the camera. We want the movement to be as smooth as possible. Here I am watching the monitor, doing some back stretches. These shoots can quickly turn into a marathon. Very physical, surprisingly physical. You see there, yeah. There I am. So just now I adjusted the zoom. Right now I'm about to set up one of my favorite shots that we do with these tire products. It's one, I call it the wraparound, where we usually start at the side and we speed ramp up and do kind of like a motion right around here. And to me, it's a shot where the tire is rotating around. It's a cool shot, I like it. Kind of hard to pull off, especially if you're working with a shallow depth of field. But we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot here today. I'm gonna show you how I set that up. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we're just gonna give it a look and yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and adjust, do this wraparound shot. Somebody comes in, turns on the lights. Thankfully I wasn't recording during that one. It's funny, people from the company sometimes like to come in and check out what you're doing. All right, so lucky for us, it is looking like it's gonna work out exactly like I hoped it would. I even got this cool little lens flare effect because of that LED backlight we got. So yeah, sometimes you get lucky. But anyways, let's go ahead and knock this last shot out. And after that, all we're gonna do is a couple handheld shots, and then we should be done with this first product. All right, so here you kind of see a preview of that wraparound shot. I like this shot because you get both the profile and the front facing. We'll go ahead and go front facing again, go ahead and mark that spot, and then we'll run handheld for the rest of it. Now typically on the handhelds, I like to just use the on-camera monitor, even though it's a little bit smaller. And then with the handhelds, I don't try to get too crazy with the movement at all. I try to just hold it as still as possible. Here I am trying to do a shot where I come out of the middle of the wheel. Right, so just finished shooting the first product. Got my camera here. Card is almost full at this point, so we're gonna go ahead and ingest some of that footage, see how it's looking, see if we like it, and if it's all good, then we'll just go ahead and move on to the next couple products. Yeah. And so we kind of have a system for storing our files here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw these in a folder. Not gonna worry about naming them right now. And go ahead and go through the test footage. All right, guys, so we're on day 2 now. Technically it's day 3, because yesterday kind of got a little bit sidetracked. Had to recharge some batteries and collect a couple new products. As you can see, we have a 10K axle hanging behind me. Really hoping that the load bearing on that chain is good. But day 1 was pretty successful. Got 8 products filmed. I was ahead of the schedule I was planning on. And today we're looking at hopefully another 8. That way Friday can be an easy, cool 4. And as far as the noise issue goes with the first tire, once I had come back in here, what I decided on doing was turning up the lighting on these lamps up to about 100%, and also just dropping that ISO down and giving it a shutter speed to match. So it's what we're working with. We're working with a pretty low f-stop for this go around, just because you know, we're in a low light setting. Also, you know, we want to really make sure that the parts of the product that we're focusing on are it. That's all we're focusing on, that's where all of our attention is going. Everything else needs to kind of be not in the picture. Right now, we're just kind of waiting on friends to show up with some spider wire. That should allow us to pin this axle to whatever angle we need it at without allowing for any visibility. With these product videos, you want to, if you can, you want to make whatever you're using to prop it up or get it in a position invisible. So I've done some before where I used fishing line and it was just barely visible. In an ideal world, you don't want that. In an ideal world, you want the product to look idyllic. Think about, like, you know, a hamburger commercial. They don't even use real food for those because the food would, you know, get soggy and tired looking within a few minutes under the hot lights. And so a lot of times they'll use plastic, or they'll use, you know, spray just to make it look juicy and make it look good. So yeah, waiting on that spider wire, and then we'll get cracking on these axles. Today it's going to be axles, mostly axles. There's a handful of tires left, but today it will mostly be axles. Oh, and I learned how to drive a forklift. In a previous video, I talked about how to differentiate yourself as a videographer, cinematographer, what have you.
Like, straight up, to me, the thing that has kept me in the game is just always being willing to learn new stuff, even stuff that's not related to video, even stuff that's not related to making, commercials and stuff. Stuff that has nothing to do with cameras. Yesterday, I went up to one of the employees. I said, "Hey, can you grab me these products? List of products." I thought I had the list with me, but oh well. And he said, "Do you know how to drive a forklift?" I said, "No." He said, "Do you want to learn?" Actually, yeah, that sounds very fun. And it was fun.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the product into place. Go ahead and turn on our lights for the day. Once again, same deal. 3-point lighting setup. Now with these axles, I like to get them into position, and we're gonna use some spider wire to do that. I'd used fishing line in the past, but it's just a little bit too visible. I know I already said that, but what you do is you typically just wrap it around, and the goal here is to get the axle in a position where it looks as three-dimensional as possible. So I didn't want to have it just, flat, facing a long ways. I didn't want to have it just facing forward. The idea is to get a little bit of a skewed angle where we see the length, but we also see kind of the hub. And so you see here, there's these perfect little holes in the railing here that I can use to just tie a little knot through. Got a box cutter, and then here I flick the line just to kind of show you. So it's visible in this video, but on the Zcam E2 it is not visible. So we'll go ahead and set up our first shot here. Working with a lot of the same stuff we did yesterday. And you can see that Pro Mist filter with the ND filter on the lens. That's just going to make our lighting look really milky and just kind of give everything a really nice kind of cinematic feel. There we are, just giving it a little test. Go ahead and get the settings where we like it. Get everything in focus. You see my f-stop is at a 2.9. And then let's go ahead and calibrate it. We've got the sustenance to my left and right. Obviously got to watch some YouTube while I'm working. And we'll go ahead and turn those lamps up because I had a little bit of trouble with some noise grain on that first round of videos. Go ahead and mark our spot. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of messing with the lights a little bit to give it as much of a three-dimensional look as possible. Kind of adjust that backlight, give the product some nice differentiation from the background. And at this point I kept having some trouble. One of the batteries on the slider was dying, so I had to replace that. And then I got an idea for this super far away shot where I kind of get the whole studio in frame. And we go for the handheld. Handheld is always the last thing we do. And as you can see, I'm just kind of holding on the product in different positions for a couple seconds. Not getting fancy with the movement. It can be kind of hard to pull off handheld movement. So go ahead and now it's time to swap products. These axles are pretty heavy. If I had to guess, this one's probably around 400 or 500 pounds, maybe more. Probably more. But you can pull up with the forklift. Forklift's very fun to use. And you can see I kind of hit my shin on the actual forks. Jimmy comes in to let me know a better way to hang the products. I thank him. And then we go get our next product from the lot. I like to start with the heaviest products first. As you can see, this one is pretty similar to the last one. This time we're making the adjustment of attaching the chains to the inside rather than to the bolts. That was Jimmy's suggestion. Thank you, Jimmy. We have our friend Jamal coming in to check on me, give me a kind word. And then, yeah, cleaning off the product. Now this can sometimes be the most time-consuming part.
Day 3. We got 6 products left today. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather due to last night's decisions. Yesterday was pretty good. Got 6 products knocked out. Today we're mostly just working with some light-duty axles. I went ahead and gotten a lot of them brought in yesterday. That way today we could just boom, 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 boom. But yeah, that's what we're working with today.
All right, so final day. Just go ahead and knock out the last few of them. Luckily, these last ones are light enough that we can just carry them ourselves. Same 3-point lighting setup. Nothing changes. Sip of the coffee. And yeah, pretty nominal day. You really get into a flow with this sort of a thing, and by the end of it, things get pretty intuitive. All right. And now you see here, I'm on the other side of the room actually because I have to be next to the charger that my phone is on. A lot of this, you gotta have a lot of battery on your phone when you're working with the Zeppin app. Go ahead and finish off the coffee. And typically I wouldn't like to have any sort of background stuff going on with these shots, but every now and then something like a paint can or something that kind of fits the vibe is fine. You know, something with a workshop feel. And there we are. At this point in the shoot, I got pretty comfortable using the mini monitor on the camera and was trying to conserve battery. So I just kind of stopped using the monitor altogether. The large monitor, that is. And then go ahead and finish off with the handhelds. A lot of the handheld shots are just kind of repeats of the same focus areas that we had on the moving shots, just that they're kind of more static, far less movement. Other than that, kind of just like handheld ambiance. Lower the product. Bring it over. Get the next one. And these drop axles were actually kind of tricky because the chain kept wanting to slide down the axle. And so had to kind of finesse that a little bit. This chain actually takes a very long time to get up. Spray paint the product, make it look nice. Obviously give it enough time to dry. Well guys, thank you very much for watching. See you next time.